Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'll just let everybody join in. So welcome along to AutoCab's webinar today, Driving Business webinar series, How to Operate in the New Normal. So I'm your host, my name's Neil Jackson. I'm going to be running through things for you today. We've got a few guest speakers and some familiar faces from AutoCab who will be talking to you today. So I'll just run through quickly today the agenda. So firstly, we'll just run through the housekeeping and what's involved with the webinar. Then we'll have an overview on achieving success in the new normal, a quick review with expanding into delivery, an interview with Dominic Moyes from DG Cars, a 1200 car fleet from Nottingham with Safa. Then we'll move on to introducing our first campaign, Think Travel, Think Taxi. We'll follow this by introducing the Safe Taxi Charter, a national campaign. Then we're going to hear off our first guest speaker of the day, which is Simon Curtis from Curtis Gabriel, who's going to be speaking to us about building trust to drive business. I'll then talk to you shortly for a little update on AutoCab Connect and how AutoCab Connect can help you during the current climate and what we've been doing in the background. We'll then have talks from two of our Connect partners, Simon May from Radio Taxis Southampton, a 350 car fleet, who is also the owner of Taxi Shack, and he'll be talking to us about his use of branded face masks. And then we'll be talking to another partner, Will Catterall from Driver Bubble, who will be talking to us about driver protective screens in your vehicles and how they can help. Then finally, we've got a little competition at the end. To be able to qualify for the competition for the prizes that we have available, you need to be online at the end of the webinar to be included for the draw. So on to housekeeping. The webinar is recorded and it's going to be available and will be published online for everybody to view within the next day or two. We will be conducting a poll during the session. It is anonymous, so don't worry about your answer and being identified. It'd be great if you could all join in. If you would like to ask a question at any point during the webinar, you can use the Q&A box at the bottom, and we've got a team on standby who are going to be there to answer all of your questions. Now, we may not be able to answer everybody's questions, and if we can't, then we'll get back to you after the webinar. If you do have a question that you see and that you like the question, you can upvote it by clicking the like icon, the hand icon, and that will upvote the question and move it up higher up the list. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to go on to today is an overview on why we're here today and the content that we have for you, and that's achieving success in the new normal, which is going to be presented by Safa. So I'd like to hand over to Safa now, and he will take it away. Welcome, Safa.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Video, I think I need to share my video. There we go. Excellent. And I need to see these. Here we go. I think I'm ready. Well, hello, everyone. Good to see you all again. I think just 2 or 3 weeks ago, we met online, and this is part of the new normal. This is how we meet. This is how we talk to each other. And honestly, I mean, I think, you know, certainly loved meeting everyone in person, but you know, these days we're all meeting remotely like this, but it feels just as good. It feels like we are connecting with people, connecting with each other, perhaps even more than before, and that's something that we certainly like to see, us connecting and talking to our customers, and you guys, you know, advising us back. So really happy to do these get-togethers that we're doing now. But this new normal is, you know, is something that's really we have to get our head around from a business perspective. I think if you were to ask a few months ago, most people, I'm sure there are smarter people than I that thought otherwise, but most people were like, look, this is going to be 3 months. It's going to be hell. It's going to be hard. But things will come back to normal, and we all go on. And I think we've all learned that, yes, the past 2 or 3 months have been really, really difficult. Business really affected. All of our businesses got really affected heavily. But then as we're coming out of that very difficult period, we're finding ourselves in this limbo land of this new normal, where it isn't really, it may not be as bad as it was the past 2 or 3 months, but certainly we're not going back into a complete normal situation. And this new normal isn't another 4 or 6 weeks that we could kind of try to go through. It's more likely going to be certainly until the end of the year. It might be 8 months. And if you look at it overall, here's 8 months, new normal. Here's 2 or 3 months of the kickoff of the crisis. That's a year. And if you were to look at the whole year of a business, that's a big chunk. That's an important part, of a business. And we really should be thinking, how do we make sure this year we actually, all of our businesses, we could kind of make sure not just salvage what we have, but see if there are opportunities in there that we can really succeed at, and perhaps, maybe turn a difficult year into a good year, or at least a reasonable year. And so that's really the gist of this webinar is, let's share ideas on how we can really do that. And I wanted to personally give my opinion, and this opinion, I guess say it's my opinion, but it's really after discussions with a lot of taxi companies out there. We've kind of distilled it to 2 things, really. If we could achieve 2 things, we could really end up with a reasonable year. One is embrace delivery, and the other one is embrace safety. And both of these things may sound like we just they're good things to do, but I think really we can show how really doing these 2 things well can end up being very important to our business's bottom line. So we'll start off with delivery. We had a webinar just 2 or 3 weeks ago, and in that webinar, we talked about how possibly delivery could be the new thing for our businesses, not only during this difficult situation where people are not moving and so on, but this really could be a big shift in business for our businesses, even going into the future. We talked about last time how the market is big, the delivery market is bigger than the taxi market, and how we are well positioned as an industry to embrace that. And could we really end up, after a year or so, could we end up with many taxi businesses being taxi/delivery businesses? Why not? We are very well positioned to do this. And we've talked about 3 different ways of getting into the delivery market. We talked about the first one where we talk about iGo delivery, which is we're having lots of discussions with very large players, and then basically you could end up connecting into an iGo delivery type of way and just receive jobs and prepare your drivers to do that. That's number 1. Number 2, we talked about delivery point, which really says the shop themselves get the job. They're the ones who sell their merchandise or food, or get it through other kind of sources, wherever, websites or other apps or anything like that, and we just do the delivery part, and we give technology to those shops to just so we can do the delivery for them. And that's what delivery point product is. And we talked about the third approach, where the taxi companies themselves become the merchant and publish your own app or a way of collecting orders if they're shopping or food or anything like that. And then also, placing the order with the shop and then doing the delivery for it. And those were kind of the 3 ways that are out there in the market. And AutoCab is working in all of those 3 areas to provide solutions. So then, at this point for this webinar, what we want to kind of touch upon is how the delivery point product, which was introduced just 2 or 3 weeks ago, how is it doing in the market? And we wanted to highlight one company today. If you can go back to the previous slide, please. I wanted to highlight one company that's actually using it today. So just looking at these screenshots, I know maybe not all of you were in that webinar that we had, The delivery point product is a very simple product. It's kind of like the taxi butler for delivery. And you look at the first screen there, the bottom button there says request delivery. This is how you actually request the delivery. You get to the second screen, you put a bit of information about it and you say, give me that. And then the third screen shows you the delivery jobs that are there. And when you're ready, you say, yeah, get me the taxi for it. And the fourth screen shows the jobs that are under delivery. Very simple product, very clean product that does the job. And you just simply put this in a shop, in a pad or a mobile phone, and the shop will basically order and track the deliveries for it. Okay, so that's just a bit of a description. So let's go to the next slide. So we wanted to highlight one company that's actually really engaged heavily with this delivery point product, DG Cars out of Nottingham. And I have with me Dominic, who is one of the business development people at DG Cars. And I'm just going to do an interview style for a few minutes just to kind of explore and get an update. How are you, Dominic, today?
I'm very well, thanks. Safa, how are you?
Excellent. Good to see you again. Good to see you again.
You.
Excellent. So Dominic, I guess it's just been about a week or so that you've deployed this product. You deployed this product in one shop to kind of just see how it works. I think the shop's name was Chunky Chicken. Can you tell me how that came about and how they're using it?
Well, I'll just roll back a couple of seconds. Hi to everybody. My name's Dominic Moyes. I'm Sales Director for DG in Nottingham. We operate roughly a 1,200 car fleet across a number of brands in the East Midlands region. And probably like anybody watching this, business has been hugely affected since lockdown. So this opportunity came to us. I think we've been talking to you, my director's been talking to you for a week or two. We rolled this out effectively last Thursday to a number of other outlets, but I'll come back to Chunky Chicken, which has been the test pilot case. And we've seen a phenomenal turnaround in terms of delivery and more so job ratios coming through from the product since we put it into the outlet. Yeah. To answer your question.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. So I guess where are these jobs coming? How many jobs a day are coming through this once you put it in? I mean, the first couple of days, 2 or 3 days, or at this point?
The takeaway market's quite complex. And again, a lot of outlets have a number of food ordering platforms, Uber Eats, Just Eat, Food Hub, Deliveroo. So this is a model that kind of slots in, not necessarily to Uber Eats at the moment, nor Deliveroo, although they can turn off their delivery service. But we've tried it more so with Just Eats that aren't using their Stewart delivery platform, online orders through their own site or phone orders. And what we've seen is probably from an initial take-up of 2 or 3 trial runs while restaurants get the feet about the product, how it works. So we're probably doing about 30 deliveries a day from Chunky Chicken in particular, as it stands.
So you're doing 30 deliveries a day from one shop, basically, after 3 or 4 days of deployment.
We're probably 10 days into Chunky Chicken as the test pilot.
Yeah. Right. And those jobs are coming from, certainly people could be calling Chunky Chicken, but it seems to be most of it is coming from Just Eat, because Just Eat is kind of puts the order but relies on you to deliver. Why doesn't Chunky Chicken use their own drivers? Why are they using?
They have doing and were doing, but it's quite a complex market. And I've only had literally a week to try and upskill myself on everything and how it all works, the different commission rates, etc. But if you understand it, that a delivery driver might get paid minimum wage, £6, £7, £8 per hour. Maximum, they can deliver about 3 orders within an hour period, depending on postcode zones where they can go to. So they go out with 3 orders, they're gone for an hour. That's it. You either multiply up in delivery drivers, which potentially they can be stood around not earning anything or not taking any deliveries out, depending on how busy you are, or they're all gone and you can't produce any more orders for delivery. So
you're saying actually, it will actually, if you run out of delivery drivers, you simply can't sell food.
Yeah, and you've got options. You either switch off Uber Eats, temporarily disable it, or the other models, so you wait for the drivers to get back and you're preying on walk-ins to come in. Or this, in my opinion, and I think salespeople have got to buy into this as well, and your team have got to buy into it. And it just took a day or two to get your head around in terms of what we were offering, but now we can see quite nicely where this product fits, and it fits really well because now it allows productivity to increase. It allows the fact your delivery drivers may be out in the field, but you can continue to take delivery orders, you know, to whatever extent that may be, because it's literally one order, one driver dispatch, one order, driver dispatched. So it's solved quite a nice problem to a few outlets that we're working with currently.
Excellent. And then how about Deliveroo? Although Deliveroo has their own drivers, but as I understand, it has an option where you can actually turn off the delivery part, and they give you part of that commission, and you could deliver yourself.
It does, and we're still, as I said to you, we're going to get some stats, we're going to get some figures, which I'm happy to share once we've got everything through, once we've done our analysis. But as I understand, you can also do this with Uber Eats as well. So providing how well our trials go, and I'd like to say that since we've been trying it with Chunky Chicken for 10 days, by the end of this week, we'll have 15 devices into premises across Nottingham. And now through social media activity and the domino effect of everybody knowing each other, we're starting to get incoming calls within a week, which I find is fantastic, you know, from a sales perspective. And we'll see, you know, in a month's time, I'll be able to sit in front of people and go, this is what it's performed, this is what it's done, and this is why it's benefit to both you as an organisation and the outlets, you know, that take it up and use it.
So it sounds like you've been quite aggressive from a sales perspective. You've developed a model with 1 or 2 shops, already have it in 15 different shops.
By the end of this week, yes.
By the end of this week.
Yeah.
And then, so what's the idea? I mean, are you viewing this as kind of a land grab type of situation? Because obviously, if you have your device in a shop, then obviously you would kind of take hold of that shop in terms of their deliveries for the future. Is that how you're viewing it?
We're viewing it on a number of levels. I think we have other things in the pipeline, but it's more, as you say, if we start to perform, we've then got a model we can roll out, whether that be across Nottingham, across Newark, across Derby, where we operate the brands, who knows from there. I think also it's just working out, is this feasible? You know, number one, and going back to your question, yes, we've been aggressive, but we've done a lot of work within a week period leading up to that. Making sure we've got the right people in place, onboarding the drivers, ordering hot food delivery bags, making sure drivers are comfortable with rates, having the team behind us setting up the accounts for all the takeaways. My lights have gone off, sorry. Making sure we've got a team behind us, making sure that everything is put through, input into the system correctly. So it's been a bit more than just a sales team, off we go. We've done our own kind of teams training to make sure we all understand where the product sits, how it can benefit, why, what it means to us in terms of increasing our volume of workload. So there's been a lot of preparation prior to running off into the street, but I've got complete buy-in into the product now, where maybe I haven't had to be in this sector before, didn't really understand it, and I've had very quickly had to go get it on board. But yeah, it's good.
So if you've got, so to conclude here, if you've got 30 jobs a day from Chunky Chicken, you're deploying now in 15 shops. My math tells me that's about 450 jobs a day, which potentially yeah. You're going to tell us how all this went, and that if you take that as 20 deliveries per day per driver, which would be high. Sure. That's 22 drivers, basically, that you could keep busy with this from 15 shops that you got signed up in 10 days.
Yeah.
I think this shows the potential of what you're doing, honestly. And, you know, we'll find out in 2 or 3 weeks.
I think the potential is huge. You know, and people understand how to make money. They understand what costs them money. Managing delivery drivers is something in its own right. Cash floats. There's a whole number of scenarios out there that this product potentially fits into. And what we've also noticed, excuse me, in particular in Nottingham, is just for pure survival, a number of outlets who have no food ordering platforms that normally would be a destination dine-in venue have taken to the takeaway market. So again, just to create some kind of commercial revenue for themselves, we're able to tap into this market and offer a delivery solution as well. So it's not just confined to takeaways. There's a number of other streams we think we can get this product and make it work.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we'll really look forward to your adventure and tackling on a new market with new technology. And all going to learn from each other, aren't we? But
I'll be a master chef by the time I'm back. I'll know how to do it.
excellent. Well, if I want any fast food, I know where to go. I'm going to call you guys. Great. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, excellent. So so that's that. Thank you, Dominic, for spending your time with us. I really appreciate it. If we can have, yeah. So coming back to this. So again, what we talked about is in this new normal. One is if we can get delivery to happen. Honestly, we're quite excited about this. I mean, if you can keep, 100 drivers busy with delivery, I mean, that's a whole business, that's really fantastic. So that's really good. We're very excited about that. But safety, safety is mentioned as, isn't it nice to be safe, and it's really good to be safe. But I think safety goes right to the bottom line for our type of businesses, honestly. If we can go to the next slide. So look, out there, what's happening is that, things are just opening up. The government is just beginning to open up things, and people out there are learning how to be safe, distancing and all those things. So we're better than we were, 3 months ago in terms of safety. But also people are out there like all of us that have been stuck in the house. They're itching to go out at this point in time. And so then they're going to be making choices. The public out there in general is going to be making choices as to what mode of transportation is suitable in this new normal. And certainly from a safety perspective, walking is very safe. You're on your own. Biking is very safe. Certainly being in your own vehicle is safe because it's your own environment and you can control who goes in and who goes out. That's on one side, and the people who can do that will probably do that. The people who can't or need something, they're going to look at what method of public transportation they need. And there's buses, and there's trains, and there's the underground, and all of those things. But people, I think, intrinsically know those modes of transportation are not very safe. I'm going to be in one room, in a sense, in a bus. I'm going to have 30 people around me. I have no idea where they've been. Everybody's touching everywhere. If I don't hold on to something, I'm going to fall. It's really, and anybody can sneeze. It can get crowded very quickly. I'm not in control of that. People recognize intrinsically that's not a safe environment. Even the government says, avoid using public transport. So the question comes, where does taxi lie on this paradigm? Are we all the way to the left where, we're like in your own vehicle, or are we all the way to the right, with public transport? And what we are is one question. How we are perceived is a completely different question. And that may be more important. So how does the public see us, basically, and what's the perception of the public about the safety of taxi will make a big difference as to will they embrace taxi and private hire as a mode of transportation in the new normal or not. Next slide. Which is why basically we AutoCab, in consultation with a lot of people with the industry, we're introducing 2 initiatives that are really, really important. They're tied to each other. We think that if we can convince the public as an industry that taxi is safe, and we implement certain things that make taxi safe, then we could really substantially increase our businesses over this time. And so we're introducing today the Safe Taxi Charter, which is really a way of all the participating companies to participate in a certain way for safety. And then also we're introducing the Think Travel, Think Taxi campaign that will go along with it to make sure the public knows about this, our campaign. And so now I'd like to introduce John Smith, our Chief Marketing Officer, to talk to you about these 2 initiatives.
Thank you, Safa. Hi all, I'm John Smith, CMO at AutoCab. So over the past couple of months, the private hire trade has shown the nation that it is an integral part of the local community, a lifeline for our most vulnerable and part of the very fabric of society, with drivers going above and beyond to fulfill jobs. You've supported the nation throughout this crisis, and I believe now it's the turn of the public to help you in return. And that's why we've rolled out the Think Travel, Think Taxi campaign, to make travelling by taxi the first choice for people, an essential part of the country's recovery programme. The world has changed. As the public tries to navigate a new normal, how they choose to travel for work and pleasure is no longer a foregone conclusion. Public transport is a mess. Trains and bus services are greatly reduced, and those services which are running are overcrowded. Many of the firms on this webinar today have given discounts for NHS staff and care workers to keep our hospitals functioning. You've set up food parcel delivery services for the most vulnerable in society and have been working with local councils to ensure patients can travel to and from appointments. You've also made sure that the children of key workers can make it safely to school. Your communities have noticed this, and I don't think there's ever been as much goodwill towards the taxi trade ever. When it comes to business and leisure travel, the green shoots of recovery are beginning to show. And now people have a choice to make about the method of transportation that they're comfortable using. The government recommendation right now is to avoid public transport. And this is a huge opportunity for private hire industries to step up and be that alternative. So what is Think Travel, Think Taxi? Well, first of all, it's much more than just a hashtag. I want this to be a call to arms for the entire industry, for the national press and for consumers to help change perceptions about how safe and clean taxis are and why it makes sense to travel with just one driver in the car rather than, say, a busy train carriage or a bus with people coughing and spluttering in a confined space. Think Travel, Think Taxi is about getting people to work safely. That means encouraging businesses to set up an account with you, encouraging people to use local firms with local knowledge. It's about encouraging automation through IVR, app and web. Think Travel, Think Taxi is about a cleaner and more hygienic way to travel. We're going to use this campaign to promote your commitment to cleanliness and safety for both drivers and passengers, so that the next time the public thinks travel, they'll think taxi. How can you get involved? It's dead simple. We'll be sending out an email to all attendees after this webinar. Simply fill in your company details, and in return, we'll send you over some artwork that you can use on your own social media and branding campaigns. Feel free to add your own logo or modify it to fit your messaging. We'd also encourage you to use the hashtag whenever you or your staff post online, helping to reinforce and spread the message. One of the most important components of this campaign is the Safe Taxi Charter, which I'm really pleased to launch today. The objective of the charter is to show the public, decision makers and employers that we offer a safe choice when it comes to choosing how to travel. The charter is, in effect, a promise by the UK private hire taxi and minicab industry that we adhere to the very highest standards of sanitation and that we're doing everything we can to protect our customers and drivers, so that taxi becomes the preferred method of transportation in our communities. Remember, this is a voluntary scheme. We haven't been told to adhere to the charter because of regulation. This is a charter created by the trade, for the trade, that says we take safety seriously. So what is the charter? By signing up to the charter, you will be committing to the 10 procedures you can see on the slide, such as providing your drivers with masks, initiating regular cleaning schedules, and favouring card payments over cash. You'll be hearing from some of our Connect partners in a moment about how to source some of these items, such as safety screens and masks. From the feedback we've had from operators, many of you are actually already implementing many of these protocols anyway, but what the charter does is help tell everyone about it. To get involved, firms will need to sign up to the Safe Taxi Charter online. We'll be sending the URL to you via email after this webinar. Next week, we'll send through some creative for you to use in your offices and cars. This is things like posters outlining the charter, stickers to show your firm has signed up, and material you can use in your own online marketing and social media. Our PR agency has primed a number of journalists and media outlets in the national and regional press to run with this campaign. But we want to include those of you who sign up early in that press coverage, so please sign up this week to be part of the initial public launch. Further down the line, we will create an online database so that the public and decision makers can find out which firms in their local area are signed up to the charter. We think this will become a key differentiator when passengers, especially corporates, are choosing which firms they want to work with. The key to both of these initiatives is participation from everyone on this webinar. I genuinely hope you all see merit in the idea but it's only going to take off if it's embraced by firms right across the country so that it snowballs and grows in strength. What can you expect from AutoCab? Well, myself and my whole marketing team will be using all of our skills to promote the charter and those companies that sign up. AutoCab's going to invest a significant advertising budget to amplify the message and target decision makers, politicians, demand generators such as aggregators to endorse the charter and keep the focus on taxi. Our PR agency will be working for national newspapers and local press as well as radio stations and the major news broadcasters to spread the message. In short, we will be doing everything in our power to promote you and the scheme. This has the potential to become absolutely huge, and I truly hope you'll join in. That's it for me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, John. Thank you so much. And yeah, I mean, I think, look, this is the kind of thing that would really make a difference out there. And you know, and just I don't know if John mentioned, but this is an industry-wide thing. We're not doing this just for our customers. So any taxi company that would like to participate, regardless if you're using our technology or not, would love for you to be part of this thing. And we do everything to also promote your businesses and also provide you any of the collateral that we provide to any of our customers to help us push this forward. I mean, the only way that we're going to succeed is by working together and, you know, as an industry to make sure that we can turn this year that was kind of destined to be a very difficult year to perhaps a positive year for us, for our industry. And this chart right here really quickly kind of tries to convey that. And I don't know what the percentages would be really, but you know, the blue bar there is really what, you know, if we do nothing, you know, we just kind of sit there, wait there for the jobs to come in. And maybe the ones that are forced to use a taxi because they absolutely have to, they come, and we may end up with 30% of the jobs that we would normally have. But if we implement the safety campaign, and if we can convince the public that being in a taxi is literally just as safe as being in your own vehicle or something close to that, or it is at least a safe mode of transportation, it goes below the risk level that I'd like to, you know, take up when I go outside, then we could see a tremendous increase in bookings as a result of that. And then you top that with delivery. I mean, I put there 10%. Honestly, the sky is the limit when it comes to delivery. You know, by just taking these apps and making sure that you put them in every venue that has a potential for delivery, we could, we could go back to having the same number of drivers that you've had before, and you could see a substantial increase in the business, not only during these times, but times after. I know DG Cars is hiring delivery drivers, not just normal taxi drivers as well. And you could end up with a fleet that has a combination of the two. And that becomes a lasting investment in your business, because a year from now, you could end up being, when things come back, both a delivery and a company at the same time. Okay, so I think that's my part. I'll turn it back to Neil Jackson.
Thank you, Safa. And John and Dominic, great review on Delivery Point, and two very important campaigns, I think, that I'm pretty sure will help everyone's business. Like John says, we all need to get on board, but I think that's something that can have a great success and help with the recovery. Okay, so now I'd like to hand over to our first guest speaker of the day, Simon Curtis from Curtis Gabriel. He's going to spend a bit of time telling us about building trust with customers to drive your business. Okay, over to you, Simon. Thank you.
Thanks, Neil. So I'm Simon from Curtis Gabriel. We specialise in social media and digital marketing for the ground transportation industry. And today, really, I'm just going to touch on, you can use everything else that's been spoken about in this webinar to take to market. So if you can go on to the next slide. So right now, price, experience, reliability, and availability is second to trust. Trust is what is going to get more people back into your vehicles. Trust will come from customers feeling safe, that they won't catch COVID and travelling in one of your vehicles, and that your fleet is absolutely the best ground transportation option out there available to them. While common sense obviously dictates that travelling by taxi is safer than doing so by bus or train, and you can say that you're going to be following everything on the safe taxi charter to a T and using everything that some of the other people in this webinar are going to talk about to really make people get into your vehicles. You must proactively push what you're doing to your customers, along with your established brand, along with all the great work that you've been doing in the community these last few months. Be aggressive with your marketing. That's the biggest one I'm going to talk about today, I think. Most of you will have generated significant goodwill these last few months with your community work, but now is the time to capitalise on this with the next stages of your business recovery as users, and we move towards the new normal, as we're calling it, business as unusual. We recommend that you create content to look into all your digital platforms, that's social, web and email, to inform your community, your regular customers and all your contract work contacts. And we suggest that you do the following. So use the collateral that AutoCAD is going to be making available as part of the Safe Taxi Charter and the Think Taxi campaign. You post photos and videos of drivers, and this is just some examples here, but having their temperatures taken, cleaning the vehicles between trips, wearing masks and gloves, looking smart and clean, image of the hand sanitizing vehicles or the screens that you may choose to put in if licensing allows. Blogs talking about what you do, make it real, talk about it passionately, talk about how important customer safety is, but also drive safety. You can actually use this to recruit more drivers. Produce your own branded artwork, animation, video about what you're doing, why you're the main choice. I would highlight the downfalls of public transportation and what the government has been recommending, which I mentioned before, and shout about the quality control you deliver as a regulated, well-managed private hire taxi and minicab firm. Get customers and driver testimonials, both written, word and videos. Talk about the positive experience they have had with your company. People will travel in cabs. They will get used to living in a world with more risk. The show must go on. However, don't get focused on operation and legislation and just presume that people will flood back. They won't. They will need encouraging. If you want your business back, you're going to have to invest, in my opinion, one of the largest, most aggressive marketing campaigns you've ever done. AutoCAD has clearly noticed this, supporting with the Safe Taxi Charter and Taxi campaign. So you need to, so listening to the rest of this webinar and putting a good operation together, whilst it's needed, it's not going to be enough. You need to shout at what you're doing from the rooftops. Tell as many people as possible. But if you do get this right, though, you will lay the foundations to be able to start rebuilding your business. Excuse me. And a couple of other things I just want to mention, just from the a delivery point of view, guys. I think that a couple of key points when you're communicating this out to the potential suppliers is the on-demand element. I think that's a really important part of your messaging. And also don't forget about the distance. You can travel further, like for example, deliveries within a certain radius. If someone really wants something from a restaurant, they would pay more. And don't forget about how you can use this for community integration. And I think it's important that there are opportunities way beyond just kind of food and beverage. So I know garden centres or stuff like that. So really think about how you can use this to integrate into your local community. Okay, so that's it for me. Thanks very much. And if you do have any questions or I can help in any way, just drop it in the Q&A or just get in touch with me. Okay, cheers, bye.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Simon. That's really good. So we've covered a fair amount on, excuse me, on how important safety can be in helping you in the current climate. I'm just going to run a quick poll now. Please do get involved. We'd love to know what you think. So you should see on your screen a poll called Safe Taxi Charter. So if you can have a vote on that, we're really interested to find out what people think, what they feel about it. I'll just let it run for a few seconds while you all have a vote on it. Come on, guys, there's only 50 voted so far. Let's have a few more. Don't be shy, it's anonymous. Nobody will know. Let's see what you think. Okay. You'll get to look at me while you're doing it. Lucky you. Okay, so we've got 68% of the people who are in attendance today. So I'll just end the poll and then I'll just share the results with you. So as you can see from the results, 64% of you think that the safe taxi charter is a great idea, and I tend to agree. I think it's something that we all need to be looking at doing. Thanks for getting involved. So what I'd like to do is just give you a little update on AutoCab Connect. So we've been working quite hard over the last couple of months since all of this started happening, and we've signed up roughly around 6 or 7 new partners, and we've been speaking to the existing partners prior to that, and what we've managed to do is create some special offers and special prices, and we've created a section on the Connect website specifically for COVID-19 with all of these offers listed, and some further information, some blogs, some advice on marketing, and help and information to help you and your businesses. We feel that our partners have really stepped up to the mark in the current climate. They know that it's had a huge impact on your business, and some of the special offers that they've put together include things such as discounts, free trials, setup fees waived, and they're exclusive to AutoCab customers. So if you've not had a look yet, I would suggest that you go and spend 5 minutes and have a look on the website. I'm sure that there will be some things there that will be helpful to you and your business and the road to the recovery that we now find ourselves on. So a lot of the new partners who have joined the Connect program have products that are based around protecting drivers and passengers and promoting safety. And that kind of keeps with the theme of what we've been talking about today. Now, we have 2 of those partners with us today who are going to tell you about their products and how they can help your business. So firstly, I'd like to welcome and introduce Simon May from Radio Taxi Southampton, a 350 car fleet, who also runs one of our Connect partner companies called Taxi Shack. And he's going to tell us about a unique idea and his fantastic use of branded face masks. So over to you, Simon, if you'd like to take it away.
Hello, good afternoon all. I'm Simon May from Radio Taxis in Southampton and also the owner of taxishack.co.uk. Radio Taxis took a major impact in business like any other taxi company across the UK. We found different ways to help local people, from deliveries or trips to the local chemist to help the less able. The government's advice suggesting not to use public transport didn't help us. I'm sure it didn't help you either. And we wanted to ensure our customers found it safe to use our taxis. Measures such as protection screens and antibacterial spray which kills viruses for up to 30 days are just some of the measures we took. Face masks or face coverings were becoming harder to secure for drivers, and customers rolled out our very own branded face masks. With hundreds of people queuing outside shops without face coverings, we wanted to do something a little bit different. We created a social media campaign to offer our customers a free face mask when booking when booking with us over the bank holiday weekend. The campaign was very successful, so we continued over the next week to offer customers a free face mask. We made the use of the text-back gateway by sending a completed job message to customers, showing the job reference number, and then they receive a link on that text back to apply for the free face masks. In the next 2 weeks, we're also running another competition to win some big prizes when customers post photos on our social media of them wearing a face mask out and about in Southampton. We have dropped face masks to local care homes and even queues outside the local supermarket to help protect local people. The options are endless, and it's a fantastic branding opportunity. We've had a great response from our customers from our campaign, and over the past week we've sent around just over 1,000 face masks in just a few days. If you would like to support your drivers or customers and get your brand out there on face masks or even a branded sanitizer, we're giving away 10% discount to everyone today using the promotional code AUTOCAB. So please check out our website. Visit us at taxishack.co.uk to find out the wide range of products available: face masks, branded sanitizer, office protection screens, and even floor social distance graphics. Thanks for listening and stay safe.
Thanks, Simon. What a great way to promote your business and really show your customers how important their safety is to you. Really great stuff. So next up, I'd like to introduce Will Catterall from Driver Bubble. Unfortunately, they didn't have anybody called Simon, so we're stuck with Will. And Will's going to tell us about the benefits of their products, in-car screen protectors, and how they can help your business. Thanks for joining us today, Will. Over to you.
Not a problem at all. Thank you very much, Neil. Hi, guys. I hope everyone's keeping well. Thank you very much for joining, and also thank you, AutoCab, for allowing us to present today. So I think in line with what everyone's been saying today, there's some very interesting points on sort of all topics, really. In terms of us at Driver Bubble, if you just go to the next slide, if possible. Thank you. So I just wanted to introduce myself and who are we? So we actually are founded from our mother company, Taxi Butler. So we already have an established global company that provides taxi booking devices. And in response to COVID-19, we realized that there was a very, very big issue within our sort of band of clients worldwide. And obviously a lot of taxi companies had their vehicles off the road. So in response to that, we designed and made Driver Bubble. And within 3 weeks, we designed it. And we have now a team of 30 working worldwide in 15 different countries, so all remote. And that goes from the USA to Europe and also in Australia and New Zealand. So what is it? So Driver Bubble essentially is a intuitive plastic screen. We provide 2 types of models, and essentially what it does, it divides the front and rear of the vehicle. So for example, you know, if you have a car or taxi, say it's a Toyota Prius, whereas before there was no protection at all, this will completely cover it from left to right, top to bottom, and just ensuring there's more safety. And in terms of hygiene as well, it's just a lot easier to maintain. In terms of the design, it fits perfectly in most vehicles. We've made it a universal fit, and essentially, like I said, it's designed to shield the driver and passengers. So what's the benefit to your company? We have had very, very, very good feedback, and obviously we've now sold over 7,000 pieces, and that's in a very, very short period of time. We have a factory that's working day and night, and we obviously have a team globally that's working day and night. And these are sort of the reasons why we benefit, or it benefits to your company. So the first thing is obviously in response to COVID-19, lowering the risk of exposure between drivers and passengers. It is that time of year, unfortunately, where hay fever is a common thing. Me being included in one of them who suffers from hay fever. So sneezing is quite a sin now, obviously due to COVID-19. So if I give you a scenario, if you're in a vehicle and a passenger or yourself decided to, or accidentally sneezed, with that shield there, obviously you know that there's a boundary between yourself and the passenger. So it's just adding that level of sort of security and peace of mind, really. And also the main thing for our customers as well is getting more vehicles on the road. And one obviously issue we've had is that, you know, a lot of fleets are not allowing their drivers to go and do jobs, and drivers themselves don't want to put themselves at risk, because obviously in a vehicle you're at very close contact, you don't know who the person is or, you know, what their situation is. So I think it's just adding that level of sort of professionalism really. In terms of the passengers, we've noticed a very, very positive feedback. We are now a approved supplier for the National Health Service. So one of our sort of roles at the moment is providing screens to put into volunteer vehicles who are driving vulnerable patients to hospital appointments. And one thing that they said was just a lot better reassurance, and again, peace of mind. And also hygiene reasons. You know, the National Health Service are very hot on hygiene, and the volunteers are able to clean the vehicles very easily after each sort of use, which is positive news. So here we have our two products. We have the Driver Bubble Flex, which is our entry model. It is 0.5 millimeters thick, and it's made of PVC. It's very durable, and it's also very bendy. So this is actually very convenient if you would want to take the shield out or in during each shift. If you use your car privately, this is the perfect model for you. In terms of design, it's a universal fit, which is really good because that means, you know, in most vehicles in each taxi company's fleet, it will fit. So the way it's installed is very simple. We timed it. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes to install, and we provide 4 straps that go 2 on the left side of the door panel, 2 on the right side, and then 2 at the bottom towards the legs of the seats. So it's super easy to install, and as you can see, it's nice and clear, which allows you to have visible in terms of the rear of the vehicle as well as the passengers. We then have the Driver Bubble Shield, which I'd say is our more popular model. I think the reason why it's a lot more rigid and durable, and it's basically a harder model. And it's also a lot thicker. So it's 1.5 millimeters thick, and it's made of polycarbonate. In terms of the UK and councils, we are working closely with a lot of councils, and we are approved by a select number, and that's increasing on a weekly / fortnightly basis. Some councils recommend that each taxi uses a polycarbonate material. So I believe that's why the Shield is our more popular model. In terms of it, both the models have a payment window. So as you can see here, here's a bit of a demonstration, and shows a bit of a clearer of how the design is. As you can see there in the top right picture, we have a payment window. So this can actually be tailored. We have some companies who don't want that, and obviously the health services don't require payment windows. So we are very flexible in terms of designing a bespoke model should you guys need it. And also here's the Shield, again, super easy to clean from one of the pictures there. And the only difference between in terms of strapping it in between the Shield and the Flex, with the Flex we provide a strap, with the Shield we actually provide cable ties. So that's obviously a bit more of a permanent fit. And I think in the long run, in terms of, is this going to be the new normal, relating back to sort of today's webinar, I personally believe that in the next 1 to 2 years, this will be the new normal. And I feel a lot more authorities and councils and businesses will be using these shields, not only to protect from potential COVID-19 exposure, but in the long run, the safety of both the passenger and driver. It adds a level of security. And, you know, I've spoke to numerous clients up and down the UK, and this is actually one of the main reasons as well why they're investing in shields now, because they realize, you know, this is a very, very good level of protection, you know, in potential cases of violence against our drivers. So an overview, designed to shield and the driver and passengers from each other, quick and easy to install. And it's compatible with most vehicles. We actually have a list on our website. So all the information I'm speaking about today is freely available on our website. And we actually have a list of what vehicles it fits. And if there is any sort of bespoke vehicles that are not on that list, we're quite happy to obviously investigate that and see if, you know, what the fitting is like for it. Drivers able to use their mirrors, I think obviously is a very important part. and also connect with their passengers. So one of the mottos we have in general through Taxi Butler, and it's drilled into us as a company, is I experience a connection with others and we are connected as one. And that's something that we use on a daily basis, whether it's internally or externally. So we obviously feel, even though we have a shield there are some competitors, providing models that are a lot darker or not clear. With a clear sort of model, you can still connect with your passengers, which is a very important part of customer service within the taxi industry. Obviously, a main part as well, maintenance free. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to screw anything in, don't have to sort of manage it. Once it's in, it's tied in, that is it. You can have it as tight or loose as you want, depending on how you feel is a better fit for your vehicle. And obviously, it provides 90% protection for the drivers and passengers, which is significantly higher than if you didn't have our driver bubbles. And hopefully, by the end of the day, you guys will be ordering some. And on that note, we obviously appreciate the relationship with AutoCab. So we are offering an exclusive webinar offer until midnight. So on our website, if you were to order, say 10, 20, 1, 2 of one of our flexes or shields, if you use the code AutoCab webinar, you'll be able to get an extra discount on top of the AutoCab discount that we already provide. So if you simply go to shop.driverbubble.com and you'll be able to order that. So I think that pretty much sort of lies me there. Obviously, my name is Will, and if you would like to get in touch with myself or Thomas here, who is the Global Director in terms of partnerships or any further questions, then please contact us on this email here, which is salesuk@driverbubble.com. I'd just like to say thank you very much for the opportunity, guys, and hopefully I explained everything well, and happy to take any questions you guys may have.
Thank you, Will.
Not a problem at all.
Two really great products that can make all the difference for the drivers and the customers. So that's just two of the partners that are currently running special offers and offering advice during this current climate. As I mentioned earlier, they can both be viewed on the Connect website along with all of our other partners. So we're almost at the end of the webinar now. I'd just like to say a big thank you to all of our guest panelists. It's very good of you to come along and to share your thoughts with us. And as I mentioned right at the start, we have a prize draw. So those of you that have stayed in place, we've got 3 prizes, all of which have been donated by our partners, which we really appreciate. So thank you again, guys. So I'll just quickly run through how the draw is going to work. So we'll be generating a random number live on screen, and my co-host for this will be Hassan, who's going to let us know who wins. What we'll do is we'll read out the number, Hassan will read out the winner. You will then have 10 seconds to raise your hand. If you don't raise your hand within 10 seconds, we will redraw for the prize. Okay? So we've got a total of 3 prizes. The first prize is 3 months free social media from Curtis Gabriel. The second prize is 5 driver bubble screens. And the third prize is a box of branded face masks. So, Hassan.
Hello.
Are we ready to get started?
We are ready. Everyone, I would suggest you learn how to raise your hands very quickly on Zoom, because you'll only have 10 seconds to raise your hand to be able to win the prize. You may not raise your hand now and keep it raised. So
yes. That's a little bit of cheating there, I think. Okay. All right.
Whenever you're ready, Neil.
Okay, so I'll generate the first number.
And which prize is this?
This is for Curtis Gabriel. 3 months
free, is that right?
That's correct, yeah. Kindly donated by Simon. So first number is 120.
120 is Eddie Binks from Noda Taxis in Newcastle. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a raised hand from Noda Taxis, I can see, within the time limit.
Okay, excellent. Congratulations, Noda.
Well done, Noda. Do they want to come on? Do you want to invite them to come on and just chat to them to congratulate them?
Yeah, let me just see if I can get them on. 1 second.
And by the way, whilst they're saying that, a lot of you have been asking about the pricing for the delivery point product. I've just been sent it. They charge £4 minimum delivery, DG cars, and 160 a mile. So this is typically slightly more discounted than their standard rate, but they got their buy-in from their drivers first. And that £4 minimum delivery charge covers up to the first 2.5 miles of the delivery. So £4 minimum, £1.60 a mile, slightly below their normal pricing. And as Safa mentioned, they've got about 10, 15 drivers now that are just on their delivery now.
No, apparently I can't enable them to speak. Sorry about that.
No problem. That's fine. No worries. They'll
All
still
right.
get the prize. Don't worry.
All right. So on to the second prize, which is 5 protective screens from Driver Bubble. Okay. So generating the next number 141.
141. James Dehan from City Cabs in Derry.
Fantastic.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, we have him. He's raised his hand.
We got him.
Congratulations, James. So what did James win?
So he won the 5 protective screens from Driver Bubble.
Excellent. Congratulations, James. And the
Fantastic.
final prize?
All right. So the final prize is a box of branded face masks from Taxi Shack.
How many?
I'm not sure how many's in a box. I think it's 100. So
Wow.
number is 117. All
117
today.
is Rachel Dale from AAA Taxis. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I do not believe we have a raised hand.
We don't. Ah, okay.
Oh no. Sorry, Rachel. We
Sorry,
are now
Rachel,
going to
you missed out there.
draw another number.
All right, we'll draw another number. Hopefully below.
I hope this wouldn't happen.
124 this time.
24. We have Luke Griffiths from Arrow Cars, UK. 10, 9. Oh, already. Why he raised his hand already?
Straight in.
Oh, congratulations, Luke. Well done.
Congratulations, Luke. All right, that's great. Yep, so that's all 3 prizes. Congratulations to the winners. Thank you, Hassan.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for attending. I hope that you found some really useful information today on what the topics we had for you. Feel free to get in touch with our customer services team or through the Connect website or through our normal channels if you've got any questions or anything that wasn't covered today. And look out for our next webinar that's coming along in about 4 weeks' time at the beginning of July. Thank you again to all of our guest speakers and to Safa and John and to the team that helped put the webinar together. And I'll see you all soon. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.